21. The greatest virtue is to follow Tao and Tao alone. The Tao is elusive and intangible. Oh, it is intangible and elusive, yet within is image. Oh, its image. It is elusive and intangible, and yet within is form. Oh, it is dim and dark, and yet within is essence. This essence is very real, and therein lies faith. From the very beginning until now, its name has never been forgotten. Thus I perceive the creation. How do I know the ways of creation? Because of this. Commentary. The wise man dedicates his life to the pursuit of the Tao. This is his only focus. For thousands of years, the Tao has been elusive and intangible. Even today, modern-day scientists are still trying to figure out this great mystery. They know about the quantum field, yet they haven't personally touched it yet. Without one, being in silence will always be elusive and intangible. Even in 1 billion years, if man continues, all external knowledge won't give you the experience of the Tao. You see, externally lies form, yet by entering silence, one sees the unmanifest. One sees the essence of the Tao. The greatest puzzle exists, and man tries to solve it. Yet by focusing on the creation, one can see the Creator. Only by being in harmony with the Tao can one see the Tao. When one enters the silence, one sees the laws of the Tao is manifesting into creation. (22) Yield and overcome, mend and be straight, empty and be full, wear out and be new. Have little and gain, have much and be confused. Therefore the wise embrace the one, and set an example to all, not putting on a display. They shine forth, not justifying themselves. They are distinguished, not boasting. They receive recognition, not bragging. They never falter. They do not quarrel, so no one quarrels with them. Therefore, the ancients say, yield and overcome. Is that an empty saying? Be really whole, and all things will come to you. Commentary. Humility is the essence of the Tao. Christ said, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." You must be like a child to understand the Tao. A wise man bends like the wind. He doesn't brag about his accomplishments. He smiles at adversity. He may or may not receive recognition. It really doesn't matter. The sun in the sky just shines. It doesn't get angry if you have no respect for it. The entire universe is humble. The Tao is humble. It doesn't judge us. We judge each other. We get angry with each other. The Tao is silent. A wise man yields to life. He understands the push-pull nature of things. He knows that being in harmony with the Tao is the key to life. The world can throw him curveballs, yet it doesn't bother him in the slightest. "23. To talk little is natural. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this, heaven and earth? If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? He who follows the Tao is at one with the Tao. He who is virtuous experiences virtue. He who loses the way is lost. When you are one with the Tao welcomes you. When you are at one with virtue, the virtue is always there. When you are at one with loss, the loss is experienced willingly. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." Commentary. When I was young, I spent some time with a Mahatma. Mahatma means great soul. Well, in fact, he was a great soul. One thing I noticed, that he didn't talk too much. Mind you, he gave an incredible discourse. He just learned how to speak English, yet you couldn't tell. He was very eloquent. Over the years, I saw the same thing myself. Dwelling in silence is the sweetest thing. Carl Jung once said, "Solitude is for me a fountain of healing which makes my life worth living." When I was young, I couldn't relate to saints going into a silent retreat. I do now. High winds do not last all morning. Heavy rain does not last all day. Why is this, heaven and earth? If heaven and earth cannot make things eternal, how is it possible for man? Heaven and earth are in complete harmony. Everything is in perfect balance. The high winds blow and disappear into calmness. A storm comes and violent rain trenches the earth. The faucet is then turned off. Yet even heaven and earth comes from the Tao. The Tao created heaven and earth. Heaven and earth are not eternal. If heaven and earth are not eternal, how is it even possible for man? I say many times that the human body is wired to be in harmony with the Tao. It is built in. You are the universe. You just don't know it. A man who follows the Tao becomes the Tao. A man who practices being virtuous becomes virtuous. A man who has a closed door to the Tao is lost. When you embrace the Tao will embrace you. When you are one with loss, the loss is experienced willingly. He who does not trust enough will not be trusted. Greed and excess are not kindly treated by nature. From time immemorial, man has told stories, fables, and historic events depicting greed and excess. We have seen the downfall of the Roman Empire. Nature is not greedy and full of excess. Nature is in abundance. Man isn't. I'm writing this in the midst of a worldwide shutdown. We have never witnessed this before. Most of the world is in isolation. People are dying. Maybe Mother Nature is telling humanity to slow down. You are moving too fast. You are placing trash into your living room. In the past few weeks, nature is healing itself. Dolphins are swimming in Venice. In China, people are starting to see the precious sky instead of smog. In India, people can see the Himalayas for the first time in decades. Lao Tzu ended this chapter with the following: "He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." In the present world conditions, Many of the leaders don't have trust as a foundation. Consequently, they will not be trusted. One incredible spiritual teacher said that some leaders went out for lunch and aren't coming back. Such is the state of ignorance. "24. He who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who strides cannot maintain the pace. He who makes a show is not enlightened. He who is self-righteous is not respected. He who boasts achieves nothing. He who brags will not endure. According to the followers of the Tao, these are extra food and necessary bag luggage. They do not bring happiness. Therefore, followers of the Tao avoid them." Commentary. Our world is in chaos. We are standing on our tiptoes. Therefore, we will lose our balance. It's just a matter of time. Mankind is like a rat on a treadmill. It's going faster and faster and going nowhere. People are working insane hours for companies who have no interest in you. You are replaceable. Our politicians run the country as a reality TV show. Shock and awe. Enlightened they are not. Mind you, these are words written over 2,500 years ago. They probably have more importance today. One who is egocentric and self-righteous is not respected. A person who boasts about everything should not run a country. Some who brags about everything is insincere. You only brag for so long before people see you as being naked. One's deeds and actions will someday catch up with you. This is the law of the Tao. Nothing is truly hidden. During this worldwide situation, a laser focus is on the truth. Falsehood and darkness will be revealed. The followers of the Tao get nourished from the Tao. They consciously let go of their baggage. This message has been told for thousands of years. This worldwide shutdown might be a great opportunity to let go of your excess baggage. "25. Something mysteriously formed, born between heaven and earth, in the silence and the void, standing alone and unchanging, ever present and in motion. Perhaps it's the mother of 10,000 things. I do not know its name. Call it Tao, for lack of a better word. I call it great. Being great, it flows. It flows far, I flow far away. Having gone so far, it returns. Therefore, Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The King is also great. These are the four great powers of the universe, and the King is one of them. Man follows earth. Earth follows heaven. Heaven follows the Tao. Tao follows what is natural. Commentary. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. The Taoists call this the Tao, the way. Modern-day scientists call it a quantum field. Imagine a cosmic soup that exists beyond time and space. It exists in the known and unknown. It exists in all dimensions and universes. Heaven and earth were born from the Tao. From stillness and silence, the universe was born. The Divine Mother creates all. Therefore, Tao is great, heaven is great, earth is great, the King is also great. These are the four great powers of the universe, and the King is one of them. I find it interesting that Lao Tzu included the King. Mind you, history has shown us many kings who ruled with an iron fist. They had no interest in their subjects. They were tyrants. So why is a king included? Have you ever seen geese flying in the sky, or fish swimming as one? I live in Kansas. Many people don't like the geese. I love them. My wife and I love to see them flying as one in the sky. They are united and one. They follow the laws of nature, while most humans don't. My personal feelings are that man is going from me to we, from a state of doing to a state of being. Granted, this will take millions of years. Each one of us is a king. You are the universe. You just don't know it. A wise man who understands the Tao sees the king in each and every human being. These are the four powers of the universe. Can we have a country without rulers? Lao Tzu is asking that question. Does a tyrant have any meaning or purpose? One who understands the Tao will understand these meanings. The heavy is the root of the light. The still is the master of unrest. Therefore the sage, traveling all day, does not lose sight of his baggage. Though there are beautiful things to be seen, he remains unattached and calm. Why should the Lord of 10,000 chariots act lightly in public? To be light is to lose one's root. To be restless is to lose one's control. Commentary. A sage has his feet on the ground and his head in heaven. He is dwelling in silence. You may think he's not aware, yet he is totally aware and conscious. He doesn't lose sight of his baggage. He is in a state of being unattached and calm, yet the wise man sees clearly in his external environment. This quote being from Stephen Stendhal. Being heavy and still, a ruler does not eagerly spring into action, but waits until it is time, and then does just what is called for, nothing more. Eagerness to act tends to create more problems than it solves. A good walker leaves no tracks. A good speaker makes no slips. A good reckoner needs no talent. A good door needs no lock, yet no one can open it. Good binding requires no knots, yet no one can loosen it. Therefore, the sage takes care of all men and abandons no one. He takes care of all things and abandons nothing. This is called following the light. What is a good man? A teacher of a bad man. What is a bad man? A good man's charge. If the teacher is not respected and the student not cared for, confusion will arise, however clever one is. This is the crux of mystery. Commentary. In the East, they firmly believe in the passing of knowledge from one generation to another. You may have a generation of people mastering their trades, whether it's a tofu maker in Japan, whose family has been making tofu for thousands of years. It is an art and science. The Taoists have their long lineage. Most of these is passed down from father to son. Civilization should grow in time. Knowledge and wisdom should be learned. Mind you, this is not rote memory. I remember in school when the teacher said, "Class, please turn to page 51 in your textbook. Richard, could you read that page?" It was dry as toast. Lao Tzu is saying we should put our hearts and soul into our livelihood. Each action we take can be a conscious action. Mankind can live in complete harmony with the Tao. To gather wisdom should be a joy. Most schools are dampening the joy of learning. We made a mockery of it. It's so bad that kids bring their guns to school. This is called a sin, which means to miss the mark. Our entire school system needs to change for the better. Following the light means to follow the Tao. The Tao teaches the sage how to be and act. The Tao has patience like water. It can smooth out the rough edges of man's ego. 28. Know the strength of man, but keep a woman's care. Be the stream of the universe. Be in the stream of the universe, ever true and unswerving. Become as a little child once more. Know the white, but keep the black. Be an example to the world. Be an example to the world, ever true and unwavering. Return to the infinite. Know honor, yet keep humility. Be the valley of the universe. Be in the valley of the universe, ever true and resourceful. Return to the state of the uncarved block. When the block is carved, it becomes useful. When the sage uses it, he becomes the ruler. Thus, a great tailor cuts little. Commentary. Have the strength of courage, yet have the heart of a woman. Swim in the stream of the universe, and you will become it. A child is pure in heart. To understand the Tao, you must become a child again. The Tao is all about paradoxes and polarities. Know the white, but keep the black. In the West, we think about Christ as a light. We then say there is a prince of darkness. Yet the Taoists have a different train of thought. Can a seed initially start growing from the light? No, it needs darkness. Darkness allows the seed to germinate and grow. We need a balance between light and darkness. The Tao is all about harmony and balance. This quote came from Stefan Studi. But the opposing means something else. But the opposites mean something else to Lao Tzu. Darkness refers to the dim valley compared to the brightly lit mountain, the shady side yin instead of the sunny side yang. The Tao Te Ching keeps repeating the idea of yielding, so the sage modestly steps out of the light into the shadows and never insists on attention. There are so many different levels Lao Tzu is working on. By embracing the Tao, one is example to this world. The wise man just smiles at life. He is humble and in harmony. Know honor, yet keep humility. By being humble, people will honor you, not the other way around. In politics, we have seen politicians who boast and brag and perform actions that create scandals. A humble man will ask for forgiveness, while a pompous man will fight you with everything he has. He will never forgive his actions. Be the valley of the universe. Be in the valley of the universe, ever true and resourceful. Return to the state of the uncarved block. You want to be the valley of the universe, not the mountain of the universe. The Tao is ever so humble. It does not shout, "Look at me." It is not striving for attention. In the West, both the Christian Judeo religions at times believed in a God of jealousy and wrath. God needs our attention, or all hell will break loose. By being the valley of the universe, one returns to the source, just like a raindrop merges back into the ocean. Remember, the ocean is always at sea level. There are no oceans in the mountains. A sage realized the block of woods in its purest form. He realizes a great tailor cuts little. Consequently, his life is simple and humble. He becomes just like the Tao. 29. Do you think you could take over the universe and improve it? I do not believe it can be done. The universe is sacred. You cannot improve it. If you try to change it, you will ruin it. If you try to hold it, you will lose it. So sometimes things are ahead, and sometimes they are behind. Sometimes breathing is hard, sometimes it comes easily. Sometimes there is strength, and sometimes weakness. Sometimes one is up, and sometimes down. Therefore, the sage avoids extremes, excess, and complacency. Commentary. Lao Tzu believed in preserving nature. Nature is a reflection of the Tao. It has been rumored that Lao Tzu was alive when the Great Wall of China was being built. What a monstrosity! The emperor built this for his own ego, yet we call it a great wonder today. Lao Tzu was probably one of the first ecologists. I'm writing this during the global shutdown. In just 3 weeks, the planet is showing signs of healing. Yet when this is over, are we going back to our old ways? We think we have created a modern world, yet we still fight one another. We throw garbage in our living rooms. We mock indigenous people who want to preserve this precious planet. We mock tree huggers and call them silly. Materialism is the name of the game. A great spiritual teacher said many moons ago, we are sawing the branch that we are sitting on. I never forgot that saying. We think we can make this world a better place by raping the land and taking precious resources along the way. Many people believe that global warming is a hoax. Yet nature has shut down the entire world. Many people are shaking in their boots, and they have every right to do so. Maybe, just maybe, nature is telling us something. Maybe we need to stop in our tracks. Maybe nature is kind and saying, if you continue to act this way, someday you will not live on this planet. I will be here, but you won't. Our entire way of thinking and acting must change. Every human being is a piece of the puzzle. It's time to take responsibility for our actions. The wise man lives in accordance with the laws of the Tao. He shows humanity the way. Wherever you advise a ruler in the way of the Tao, counsel him not to use force to conquer the universe, for this would only cause resistance. Thorn bushes spring up whenever the army has passed. Lean years follow in the wake of a great war. Just do what needs to get done. Never take advantage of power. Achieve results, but never glory in them. Achieve results, but never boast. Achieve results, but never be proud. Achieve results, because this is the natural way. Achieve results, but not through violence. Force is followed by loss of strength. This is not the way of Tao. that which goes against the Tao comes to an early end. Commentary. Mankind has been fighting for thousands of years. What a joke. A forest fire will bring regrowth back to a forest, while war brings a young man back in a box. Yet we still fight and kill. How many civilizations have fallen due to war? Nations have been bankrupt. In the United States, around 60% of our budget is for the defense. Yet during this global shutdown, we are scrambling for medical supplies. Common sense is uncommon. Why do we elect leaders that are warmongers? Why do we elect a president who has no morals or virtues? Many people say they don't care. The economy is the only thing that matters. Look, I'm not smart, super smart or intelligent. Yet in early January, when I first heard about this silent virus in China, I got concerned. Maybe my intuition kicked in. I had global concern. We could have done something as soon as it broke out. Instead, we had direct flights from China to the rest of the world. We hummed and hawed all along the way. It was a disgrace. Thousands of people are dying from this. Politics got in the way. Science was saying we had better do something fast, while the politicians didn't believe in their advice. As a world, we need a change for the better. We need drastic changes. Mankind needs to be shaken in their boots for true change to occur. Maybe that won't even work. Bring back the good old days. The grass is not greener on the other side of the hill. It's burnt. We must take responsibility for our piece of the puzzle. Just think, Lao Tzu wrote this over 2,600 years ago. It is pertinent today. "31. Good weapons are instruments of fear. All creatures hate them. Therefore, followers of Tao never use them. The wise man prefers the left. The man of war prefers the right. Weapons are instruments of fear. They are not a wise man's tool. He uses them only when he has no choice. Peace and quiet are dear to his heart, and victory, no cause for rejoicing. If you rejoice in victory, then you delight in killing. If you delight in killing, you cannot fulfill yourself. On happy occasions, precedent is given to the left. On sad occasions, to the right. In the army, the general stands on the left, the commander-in-chief on the right. This means that war is conducted like a funeral. When many people are being killed, they should be mourned in heartfelt sorrow. That is why a victory must be observed like a funeral. Commentary. Lao Tzu continues with the horrors of war. War is not justified. One who follows the Tao will always find a solution or way out. We've been fighting for thousands of years. It is considered an honor to fight for your country. Yet the Tao does not take sides. God does not take sides. We praise the new weapons being created. We honor them and rejoice in how many people could get killed by them. Wars have been occurring for thousands of years. There has been very little time in history when there wasn't a war. Where does war stem from? When one is not in harmony with the Tao and God, there is an internal war within. This internal war will be manifested into external war. It's as simple as that. Yet still, today, we think war is justified. I'll teach you a lesson you will never forget. That's called ego and arrogance. We have leaders today that act that way. According to the Tao, we need leaders who are in harmony with the Tao. We need honorable rulers. They need to have ethics and morals. Somehow, in America, many people have overlooked that one. Personally, I think Mother Nature is trying to teach us a lesson. The whole world is shut down. We must reflect and see what's the next step. War is not the answer. It is obsolete. We have made war a proud event and a privilege to fight. Mankind is being brainwashed. The true jewel exists inside of you, waiting to be discovered. "32. The Tao is forever undefined. Small though it is in that unformed state, it cannot be grasped. If kings and lords could harness it, the 10,000 things would come together, and gentle rain fall. Men would need no more instruction, and all things would take their course. Once the whole is divided, the parts need names. There are already enough names. One must know when to stop. Knowing when to stop averts trouble. Tao in the world is like a river flowing home to the sea." Commentary. As Lao Tzu said in his first chapter, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. One cannot truly define the Tao. It is beyond human comprehension. Even something as simple as gravity cannot truly be explained. Our scientific theories are always changing and evolving. Even in a billion years, we will not have a full understanding of the Tao. We are all grasping at straws with the Tao. At least a wise man understands that he is humble. The Tao is humble. They both just smile at life. The sage is swimming down the river of life and rejoicing to be alive. He doesn't have a care in the world. He does his duty and smiles at his fellow man. The world doesn't understand him, but he doesn't ruffle feathers with his words. The word idiot comes from the Latin word
idiota. This means feet on the ground and head in heaven. This is the essence of the Tao. There is not greater wisdom than this. He becomes a kind man. He becomes a human being, not a human doer.
"33. Knowing others is wisdom. Knowing the self is enlightenment. Mastering others requires force. Mastering the self needs strength. He who knows he is enough is rich. Perseverance is a sign of willpower. He who stays where he is endures. To die, but not to perish, is to be eternally present." Commentary. The wise man is like a farmer. He tends to his inner crops. Daily he pulls out the weeds and boulders. He tills his soil and waters it. This is how a wise man becomes enlightened. He masters himself. The ordinary man gathers wisdom by knowing others. He doesn't know about the inner garden, the great Tao. Consequently, his awareness is always on the external. Mastering others requires force. Mastering the self needs strength. Ordinary men use force like going to war to master others. The sages uses strength and perseverance to master oneself. One is the external focus, while the other is an internal focus. He who knows he has enough is rich. The sage doesn't yearn to be rich or poor. He knows that his plate is filled with the Tao. One who has this understanding is truly a rich man. Perseverance is a sign of willpower. It's by will alone that I set my mind in motion. Perseverance is the key. The goal is to align the will and the Tao, and your will be in harmony. He who stays where he is endures. The sage understands the grass is not greener on the other side. It's burnt, and the ordinary man is grasping at straws. Happiness is fleeting. Pursuing the external world won't solve the mysteries of life. You will get tangled in the web. To die, but not to persist, is to be eternally present. There is some debate about what Lao Tzu said. Many Taoists says he is talking about finding the elixir of immortality. Others say that his words are still alive today. Therefore, he has not perished. Maybe it's a mixture of the two. Some Taoists have been known to live for over 200 years.
34. The great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. The 10,000 things depend upon it. It holds nothing back. It fulfills its purpose silently and makes no claim. It nourishes the 10,000 things, and yet it is not their Lord. It has no aim. It is very small. The 10,000 things return to it, yet it is not their Lord. It is very great. It does not show greatness, and is therefore truly great. Commentary. The modern-day scientists would call the Tao the quantum field. It exists everywhere. It is beyond time and space. All creation comes from it. It is humble, silent, and makes no claims. It nourishes all, but doesn't say, "I'm the Lord over you." It has no aim. It's the tiniest of the tiny. Modern-day physicists are using an instrument in CERN to try to find the tiniest particles. This will go on forever. Everything returns to the source. A raindrop someday returns to the ocean of the Tao. The Tao is hidden behind the scenes. It doesn't display greatness, so consequently it is truly great. The Tao is ever so humble. It creates all, yet does not rule with an iron fist. In fact, it doesn't rule at all. "35. All men will come to him who keeps to the one, for there lie rest and happiness and peace. Passerbys may stop for music and good food, but a description of the Tao seems without substance or flavor. It cannot be seen, it cannot be heard, and yet it cannot be exhausted." Commentary. All wise men who follow the Tao discover the jewel that lies within. True rest, happiness, and peace lie there. Many people hear about the Tao. They stop for good food and music and have a grand party. But for the majority of people, the Tao doesn't have the substance or flavor. It is very subtle. It's like a wine connoisseur who partakes in a glass of fine wine. He will take the wine and spend time on assimilating all the subtle flavors. The ordinary man will just gulp the wine down. It's a paradox that man only believes in the external. We all breathe, yet we aren't aware that behind the breath lies the great Tao. Even the life-giving breath doesn't shout, "Hey, look at me." 36. That which shrinks must first expand. That which fails must first be strong. That which is cast down must first be raised. Before receiving, there must be giving. This is called perception of the nature of things. Soft and weak overcome hard and strong. Fish cannot leave deep waters, and a country's weapons should not be displayed. Commentary. Everything is push-pull energy. Everything has a pair of opposites, light and dark, high and low, hot and cold, life and death, good and bad. Behind all polarities lies the great Tao. In the East, for thousands of years, they believed that the universe is breathing just like us. Or shall I say, we are breathing just like the universe. We breathe in and breathe out. You can try to hold your breath, yet within minutes your body will be desperate for the next breath. This mechanism is built in. In the East, the breath of Brahma is 310 trillion years. The great sages strive to be in balance with the great Tao. This leads to being in harmony. And a country's weapons should not be displayed. Oddly, this was included. I remember that our current administration wanted to have a military parade on the 4th of July. I think it's ironic that for years we frowned upon the Soviets, Chinese, and North Koreans, but have a huge military parade. This wasn't in the consciousness of the American people. We didn't flaunt our egos and display our might. Lao Tzu didn't believe in war. He said, if you had to go to war, do it as fast as possible. Get over it. Mourn both sides and quickly learn your lessons why you went to war in the first place. Why didn't your diplomats create a win-win situation for both parties? Don't celebrate your victory. You just caused a great funeral for both sides, only because your egos got in the way. "37. Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observed this, then 10,000 things would develop naturally. If they still desired to act, they would return to the simplicity of formless substance. Without form, there is no desire. Without desire, there is tranquility. In this way, all things would be at peace." Commentary. Behind every action lies non-action. Mankind is not in tune with the Tao. Consequently, our world is in chaos. The world has almost infinite desires. Some are good, some are bad. Going to war and rape a woman is bad. Feed the poor, and training them so they can fish on their own is good. The wise man follows the Tao, and his mind is tame. He still might have desires, yet his will is to be in tune with the Tao. The mind is either your enemy or your friend. A sage that truly enters the silence won't have any desires. In this state, one acquires tranquility. The mind, body, and soul are at perfect peace. "38. A truly good man is not aware of his goodness, and is therefore good. A foolish man tries to be good, and is therefore not good. A truly good man does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. A foolish man is always doing, yet much remains to be done. When a truly kind man does something, he leaves nothing undone. When a just man does something, he leaves a great deal to be done. When a disciplinarian does something and no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves in an attempt to enforce order. Therefore, when Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is kindness. When kindness is lost, there is justice. When justice is lost, there's ritual. Now ritual is the husk of faith and loyalty, the beginning of confusion. Knowledge of the future is only a flowery trapping of Tao. It is the beginning of folly. Therefore, a truly great man dwells on what is real, and not what is on the surface, on the fruit and not the flower. Therefore, accept the one and reject the other. Commentary. We are human beings, not human doers. Unfortunately, our emphasis is on doing. What do you do is the question when you first meet someone. Our world is all about doing, not being. The Tao says this is why the world is in chaos today. We aren't living in harmony and balance. The mind controls you, and you don't control the mind. When this happens to the world at large, chaos will exist. A person may seem to live a normal life, yet it's not in harmony with nature or the Tao. A truly good man is not aware of his goodness, and is therefore good. A foolish man tries to be good, and is therefore not good. A wise man is in tune with the Tao, so is therefore good. An ordinary man tries to be good, yet doesn't know that true goodness exists inside. A truly good man does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. A foolish man is always doing, yet much remains to be done. A wise man knows that performing action, inaction, is the goal. He becomes a human being, while a man is always doing things. Even when he is not working, his mind is thinking, what's on my to-do list? He is never content and at peace. When a truly kind man does something, he leaves nothing undone. When a just man does something, he leaves a great deal to be done. When a disciplinarian does something and no one responds, he rolls up his sleeves in an attempt to enforce order. Such is the nature of society. A truly kind man leaves nothing undone. A just man acts, but leaves a great deal to be done. A disciplinarian does something, and no one responds. The next moment, a law is passed, and the rule of law is enforced. If you don't follow it, you pay a fine or go to prison. Therefore, when Tao is lost, there's goodness. When goodness is lost, there's kindness. When kindness is lost, there's justice. When justice is lost, there's ritual. Now, ritual is the husk of faith and loyalty, the beginning of confusion. Lao Tzu is explaining what happens when the Tao is lost. It slowly descends down the drain. Ritual is current-day politics. Both sides of the political party have people who have faith and loyalty solely towards their own political party. Consequently, there's constant bickering and fighting, much like spoiled children. I'm writing this during the global shutdown. Common sense is uncommon. Need I say more? Therefore, the truly great man dwells on what is real, and not what is on the surface, on the fruit and not the flower. Therefore accept the one and reject the other. The wise man lives in the center of the hurricane, while man lives in the whirling winds of the mind. He is like leaves blowing in the wind. The Tao teaches one to have your feet on the ground and your head in heaven. This is the way of the Tao. Confusion can't touch you. Common sense is uncommon. Only a wise man has this. Unfortunately, common sense lies inside, but the clouds are covering it up. These things from ancient times arise from one. The sky is whole and clear. The earth is whole and firm. The spirit is whole and strong. The valley is whole and full. The 10,000 things are whole and alive. Kings and lords are whole, and the country is upright. All these are in virtue of wholeness. The clarity of the sky prevents its falling. The firmness of the earth prevents its splitting. The strength of the spirit prevents its being used up. The fullness of the valley prevents its running dry. The growth of the 10,000 things prevents their dying out. The leadership of kings and lords prevents the downfall of the country. Therefore, the humble is the root of the noble. Low is the foundation of the high. Prince and lords consider themselves orphaned, widowed, and worthless. Do they not depend on being humble? Too much success is not an advantage. Do not tinkle like jade, or chatter like stone chimes. Commentary. The entire universe and creation comes from the Tao. Everything in the universe is united. The push-pull of gravity is the thread that ties the universe together. Without gravity, the galaxies wouldn't exist. The stars wouldn't exist. The planet Earth wouldn't exist. This is the true magic of life. The Tao creates all. Someday our universe will disappear like a thief into the night, yet the Tao will still be there. Everything is in harmony except man. Lao Tzu said the following: Kings and lords are whole, and the country is upright. All these are in virtue of wholeness. This is the true state of man. We are all kings and lords, yet we have forgotten. This is a cosmic play being acted out for time immemorial. We contain these virtues, yet they have been covered up by dark clouds. The clarity of the sky prevents its falling. The firmness of the earth prevents its splitting. The strength of the spirit prevents its being used up. The fullness of the valley prevents its running dry. The growth of the 10,000 things prevent their dying out. The leadership of kings and lords prevent the downfall of the country. Once again, Lao Tzu describes the magnificence of creation. The Tao in all its unsung glory sustains all. Yet there is something that Lao Tzu said that exists only when man discovers and embraces the Tao. This is the following. The leadership of kings and lords prevent the downfall of the country. To be honest, we don't have that currently in the United States. It seems to me we are on a teeter-totter. We are totally off balance. We can't get anything done. During this global shutdown, we don't have leaders that will guide us and reassure the citizens, much like a Winston Churchill. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, is at the forefront of new leadership. She is ruling with kindness as her foundation. She is trying to rule with the basic laws of the universe: love, mercy, and compassion. I call these conscious politics and wrote a book on this. Therefore, the humble is the root of the noble. The low is the foundation of the high. Prince and lords consider themselves orphaned, widowed, and worthless. Do they not depend on being humble? Too much success is not an advantage. Do not tinkle like jade, or clatter like stone chimes. The very foundation of the Tao is humility. In our egocentric world of people who rule with bragging, boasting, finger-calling, degrading, mocking, and firing people who call you out. This has been the norm for a while. We have a leader that has lied constantly. As of January of this year, the current president has told 16,421 lies, yet half the nation still supports him. The founding fathers are probably crying in their graves. How far away have we come from our founding fathers? Look, I'm talking about morals and ethics here. We are in the midst of a global shutdown, and many leaders are placing more emphasis on the economy than the welfare of our citizens. Leaders must act as the fallen to be in harmony with the Tao. Prince and lords consider themselves orphaned, widowed, and worthless. Yet currently in the United States, they think they are beyond the common man. Many serve big corporations and give huge tax breaks to them and the 1%. They are anything but humble. Today, this book is more relevant than ever before. Our politicians strive for trinkets that will go to the grave when they die. All their selfish power will be taken away. Lao Tzu describes the world as common sense is uncommon. The creation as it stands is magnificent and glorious. Currently, man is struggling to find his true nature. Fortunately, millions of people are waking up from their slumber.
40. Returning is the motion of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. The 10,000 things are born of being. Being is born of not being. Commentary. We all come from the Tao. We are born, and ultimately we die. It's like a raindrop returning to the source, the ocean. One famous mystic said, everyone knows that a raindrop returns to the ocean. But how many people know that the ocean is contained in the raindrop? The wise men of the past knew this. Everything has a cycle. There are 4 seasons. There are high tides and low tides. It takes 1 year for the planet Earth to go around the sun. The moon in the sky goes through different phases. There's a planting of seeds and harvesting. There is endless examples of this. The universe is created and someday will disappear like a thief in the night. Everything in the universe comes from the Tao.